On this episode, we're going to talk business and the platform business model. Let's go. Yaniv.
Nick.
Interviewing you for a change.
Yeah, why not? Switch it up, all good.
So what I really wanted to talk about is the platform business model that BitBook has, and why did we go for it? So talk me through what is a platform business model in essence.
Platform business model is basically a marketplace, right? It's a place where we connect buyers to suppliers. And we have seen a huge surgence of the platform business model online, right? And disrupting an enormous amount of industries, right? And you guys all know, or we all know who they are, right? We had Uber, who created a platform to connect taxis and potential passengers. We had AirBNB to connect house owners and renters. We have eBay, we have Booking.com for the travel industry. And that's basically a platform, and that's the business model. So what they do is we connect people to each other, and usually these platform providers, they use a commission fee, right? A commission business model where they charge a small amount either on the supplier or on the buyer side, and sometimes on both, to generate their income and scale the platform for many users.
So, but why is that a good business model? When you look at it from a, let's say, revenue perspective and growth, why is that why do you see those companies usually grow so big?
Well, there are various reasons. One very important factor of that is it's very lean, meaning we were talking about that, right? Uber doesn't own any taxi. They don't have a fleet, right? AirBNB does not own or have any asset, which is a house. So basically, we're just creating a platform where they can connect people that have these assets to each other. So it's a very interesting and lean business model that works really well at scale. All right, because the commissions on when you have few users is very relatively limited, but once you have a lot of people actually adopting to that platform and finding each other there, you actually make a huge incremental increase in the amount of revenue you're generating, because your cost structure is relatively flat, because you're not adding any costly assets.
Right.
Yeah.
And why do these platform business models typically win against, let's say, why not just a direct taxi service? Why use Uber? Or why not just sell a bunch of properties for or directly go to consumer if you have a house? Why do you need an Airbnb for that?
Well, look, this is really dependent on which industry and what kind of platform we're talking about, but you need to look at this from both sides, right? What does a supplier want? As many people as possible to purchase whatever it is that they're supplying. What does a buyer want? To have the best possible option for whatever it is that they're looking for. So if you create a platform where you're balancing both needs from both sides, you basically win over a model where that's not the case, right? If you are a small taxi shop owner, right, you will only have access to the people that enter your shop. You won't have access to all the other amount of people that want your taxi. If you're a person that looks for a taxi and you're dependent on that store to get your taxi, then your supply is very limited. So a platform model, especially that works online, basically creates an abundance of opportunity for both the suppliers and the buyers. Right. What's interesting there is that, and this is also there are a couple main reasons why these platforms fail. But one of the main reasons is that there is a disbalance in the platform. Too many suppliers, right, and too few buyers. There is no incentive for the suppliers to be on this marketplace, right? And the other way around, in a similar way, right? If there are a lot of buyers, but there are too few suppliers, not enough people will find what it is that they're looking for and will abandon the platform as well. So I think that the most important element is to create a balanced platform. Another very interesting thing there, and I'm just a little bit ranting here, but I'm not ranting, but I'm just thinking out loud here. A thing that's very important, I read that in a Harvard Business Review article, is that a platform basically needs to share what they call share the surplus for all users of the platform. Okay, so if you benefit one side of the platform too much in favor of the other, that is not a sustainable model. So they were, I believe, giving an example regarding the car industry, but since we're in the travel industry, we're looking at a platform where I think that this is happening right now. So Booking.com, we can name the name because that's the name that everybody is using, is currently benefiting the traveler. Right?
Agreed.
Absolutely, right? They are basically putting all the pressure on the accommodation provider. Booking commissions up to 25%, eating enormously into their margins, but it is benefiting the traveler, so they're maintaining a kind of a chokehold on this industry. So I think, and maybe I want to have your thoughts on this as well, is that we're actually tackling this major issue. We want to create a platform where the surplus or the benefit of the platform actually is equally distributed on both the supplier and the buyer side of things, right?
And it is because their earning model is dependent on it, right? Their earning model is dependent on these commissions. And yeah, you mentioned it's choke holding, but it's basically maximizing their monopoly position, right? Because they can. The hotels are dependent on it anyway, so they have to. And so I think you're right, there is a disbalance there, which maybe for the large majority of our viewers, which are travelers or people that have interest in the crypto economy, right, don't really necessarily care about, but they should, especially when you're looking at from a coin perspective and you want to tackle something that could potentially grow. If one side is a huge issue and it's an industry challenge, and you can solve an industry challenge, literally this is what keeps hotel owners up at night. If you can solve that issue, you're in business. Yeah. And you have a disproportionate advantage with the blockchain because you're not going to be dependent on these commissions. So we are not punishing the travelers either, though, right? We are keeping it the same, but we are solving the other side of the equation. And I can guarantee you one thing, if you are a hotel owner, you can get 10 bookings, 10 where you have to pay up to 40% commission, or one where it's maybe 5%. You're going to go with the 5 every single day. 100%. As long as it's sustainable enough, as you said before, if there are enough people that are interested in it and book.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the main thing. We're really trying to create a equal benefit for both sides of a platform. That is what makes it sustainable, right? You're mentioning that. I mean, a good hotel will operate on a 14 to 18% net revenue percentage on average, and you're mentioning commissions up to 40%. The average is roughly at 20-25%. So basically the commissions are higher than the profit margin that's being made by this hotel. So this is a tremendous problem. So I'm very excited to work together with you and obviously our whole team at BitBook to equalize this problem and actually give these accommodation providers the revenue and the share that they deserve and while also benefiting from being on a platform and having access to all these travelers to get their bookings. So with that, I think we also can conclude. I think that's what we're going to go for right now. Stay tuned for other videos. We'll talk more about how we're actually doing this. We'll keep you updated, and we look forward to hearing from you as well on our channels. Cheers.